Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be talking about the June 28th, 2018 full moon in Capricorn. The full moon in astrology can represent the culmination or completion of something. It could also be a period where we become tired, exasperated, simply have had enough of something, simply full of something or some issue. This could also be a very powerful unleashing and outpouring of emotional energy. This could be about very uninhibited, unrestrained emotional expression. I believe also there could be a greater propensity for accidents during this time because emotions can be in full throttle, so to speak, and at a high. Now, Alice, I'd say more loony behavior. It may affect everybody collectively to some degree, but I think the people that will be strongly affected and impacted by this full moon in Capricorn will be people that have the sun, moon, ascendant in Capricorn or Cancer. Now, Capricorn, because obviously it is in their sign, and Cancer because they are strongly affected, of course, by transits and phases of the moon, because the moon does rule their sign. And of course, I mean, this could be strongly attributed as to why the zodiac sign Cancer can be so moody, fickle, and temperamental. And this could also be about a very strong revelation or unveiling of something that had been suppressed for some time. This could be a time given that this is in Capricorn. It could be, I mean, you're looking at this where a situation where someone might become tired, really full of something that might be very limiting, restricting, confining, depressing, that might be causing this person to feel melancholy and despondent. It could also be the culmination, perhaps something government related and other things Capricorn related, such as dentistry, information technology, a business deal, even mundane work, or even something politically related, or even in just a career in general, or really something where maybe you might see many people reaching that pinnacle in terms of success and something career related, or it could be something, maybe a career comes to an end or completion or culmination at this time. So, and also too, given that this is Capricorn, this could be a very strong unleashing of very really melancholy feelings and even dark emotions. And really looking at this, and also the conjunction that this is going to have to Saturn may make it a little bit more difficult to express these things. Now, given that we're having, I mean, the full moon, what I want to talk about as well is that when you have a full moon in astrology, it could often signify greater activity in connection with things that are associated with that particular sign. So given that this is the full moon in Capricorn, this could be a much busier, a very active and busy period for politicians, people in businesses, landlords, managers, people that are in positions of authority in general, accountants, even people that are in information technology, and even business people that are in like business developments, and it could even be people doing construction, because that could still be tied into building something that is business related, and even government employees. This could be a much greater active period for them at this time. Now, some other things to talk about as far as this full moon in Capricorn goes. Remember, when you have a full moon, in astrology, of course, the full moon is going to be opposite the sun position. In this case, of course, the full moon in Capricorn will oppose the sun in Cancer. And the thing about this is going to be when you have the sun in Cancer opposite the full moon in Capricorn. This is about, I mean, the sun in Cancer having that basic want, perhaps, for safety and security. And what it is you're going to have that making an opposition to that emotional need for more career success and in doing things more as far as outer success. Well, when you have the Sun in Cancer opposing, and the Sun in Cancer is more about that basic one again for safety and security, introversion, your home life. So it's really, you're going to feel like this tug of war at this time, perhaps between really that basic one for the home life and really having your success in the outer world for many people. That many people may actually feel this tug of war, for those, of course, that are involved in some kind of career, of course. Now, another thing too is that this is going to be, I mean, when you look at when I look at this as well, I mean, of course, this is about it's important to look at the house that this falls in, because that could, of course, strongly impact the delineation and interpretation. Now, let's say that somebody has this full moon in Capricorn take place in their 8th house. This could be, in some isolated cases or extreme cases or what have you, some kind of maybe revelation or unveiling that maybe somebody was using some kind of maybe using sex to attain maybe some greater stature in life or to attain their ambitions. It could be somebody that might become somewhat exasperated, tired, full, so to speak, of maybe a very limiting and confining situation that's tied in to a shared resources situation, or maybe even an intimate relationship that might be causing them to feel despondent or melancholy, or it's causing some kind of limitations or restrictions. Now let's take another example. Let's say that the full moon in Capricorn takes place in one's 12th house. Well, this could be, in some cases, a revelation or unveiling, maybe of some kind of dark mental illness, perhaps one that might be connected with some kind of depression and despondency, or where one is feeling very sadly melancholy. It could be like that seasonal. I think there's some kind of seasonal depression or something where where this person feels this need to let out this information somehow. In some cases, this could actually be a revelation or unveiling of a Capricorn adversary. It could be a Capricorn hidden adversary, which of course could be a Capricorn sun, moon, or ascendant actually, or simply somebody that embodies Capricorn-like characteristics. Now, another thing too, the way this could manifest, this full moon in Capricorn, this could be about perhaps the completion of something Capricorn related. It could be something even connected with mundane work, business deal, information technology, dentistry, even something with the skin, something like dermatology, because Capricorn is associated with that as well. But given that Saturn is going to make the conjunction to this full moon in Capricorn, it might be a little bit more difficult to express these emotions than usual, which of course can cause some turmoil and some even greater exasperation perhaps. Now, also, too, given that what I look at is the degree as well, as far as Sabian symbols goes. Okay, the full moon in Capricorn is going to be at 6 degrees, and given that this is going to be at 6 degrees, this suggests perhaps people there might be a number of people that might be succumbing to nefarious means to attain these ambitions, whether they're career or what have you, and maybe getting some prominent position as well. So this could be something where you have a little, maybe this avaricious energy that might be connected with this. So anyway, another thing about this, what I thought was interesting as well. Now, this could be, it's important to look at the aspects that this makes to points in your natal chart, as this could impact the delineation. Now, in my case, this is going to make this full moon in Capricorn is going to make an opposition to my sun in Cancer. So what this could cause is, because the aspects this makes are going to be intensified, given that this is full moon energy, of course. Now, in my case, given that my sun in Cancer is in the 2nd house and the full moon in Capricorn is going to fall in my 8th house, this could indicate perhaps for me that concentration of energy, focus, attention on perhaps safety and security, nurturing my and protecting my resources and possessions may oppose that emotional need perhaps to make a very serious and consistent change or transformation, which might be tied in to maybe maybe something, some kind of situation, connected with limited shared resources situation that I might be becoming exasperated, tired, and full of. So basically, what I could be feeling this tug of war as far as that energy goes. So it's basically, again, for me, it could be about really having that concentration of energy, focus, attention on protecting resources and possessions, holding on, retaining to what I have, as opposed to making maybe that effort to make that that serious transformation, which has a lot of consistent energy with it, and making that transformation perhaps because I'm getting tired or full of and exasperated at a limiting shared resources situation. That's actually, I kind of really feel that energy right now, actually. So maybe I'm getting like this little precursor to that. So. And again, it's also important to look at the other transits, as they may be intensified due to this full moon energy. Now, you're going to have the transit Mars in Aquarius, which will have recently just gone retrograde. And you may be wondering, well, how can that be relevant, and how is this going to, how can this maybe interact with this full moon in Capricorn energy? Well, what I want to get at is, first of all, many of you may have heard that the rates of I guess you could say proliferation of suicides in the U.S. have gone on tremendously over the last 2 decades, according to some report on livescience.com, on some blog on that website. Apparently, that suicides have gone up about like 25% over the last 2 decades as far as deaths connected with suicides. And the thing about it is, when you have this Mars in Aquarius retrograde energy, Mars can be about anger and action and volatile actions. And the thing about this is, it could be the fact that it's retrograde. This could be inward directed. What I fear about with this energy is that this could, and you have this coupled with this very sad, despondent full moon in Capricorn energy, that you might see a little even more escalation in this, and perhaps suicides, I think, around this time because of that. Because you have the Mars, the Mars in Aquarius in retrograde motion can be, in some cases, about inflicting harm on oneself in some unusual or unorthodox manner. And then you have that with that full moon in Capricorn energy, that really strong culmination of that very melancholy, despondent feelings and really sad energy. Well, you could pretty much do the math and perhaps put these two together. And it's just something to be to really be wary and be careful of at this time. And also, too, I find what's interesting about at this time of this full moon in Capricorn, Mercury will be closing in on 29 degrees Cancer, which, of course, that could represent, in this case, 29 degrees Cancer, the full culmination of, as far as emotional communication goes, and perhaps sensitivity to criticism and ridicule. This could also reflect the ending of some family communications for some people. If some people are looking at a point where they've been debating over to whether to disconnect from a certain family member, this might be that time to do it, because you also have the full moon in Capricorn energy, which of course again could represent the culmination or completion or ending of something. And another thing too about this, keep in mind as well that with this 29 degrees Mercury in Cancer, it's not going to be quite at 29 degrees Mercury in Cancer, but it's going to be closing in on 29 degrees Mercury in Cancer at the time of this full moon. And you know that most of you may know 29 degrees Cancer can reflect the millionaire's degree. So I think when you're looking at the 6th degree full moon in Capricorn, which of course, as I stated before in Sabian symbols, could be an avaricious kind of degree and kind of a greedy position, coupled with this 29 degrees Mercury in Cancer, and also this full moon in Capricorn, which could be this full culmination of this ambitious energy. Well, you can kind of do the math and put it all together that you're going to have people at this point in time that are going to be really more ambitious for material success, and maybe trying to do what they can to come into money. I mean, you might see lottery sales maybe going up a little bit at this time as well because of that. And two, what I think is, I mean, what's interesting about this time, I mean, really as well, is that what I want to talk about. I mean, again, the 29 degrees Mercury in Cancer, it could be about people talking exorbitantly about maybe making money and maybe hitting that big one, so to speak, whether it could be through the lottery or it could be through, you know, business means, perhaps, given that you're going to have the full moon in Capricorn. Now, another thing that I find interesting, that how this could impact maybe one, I would say more than just a fairly famous person, someone by the name of LeBron James, fairly renowned NBA basketball player. He's going at this time, what I find interesting is, according to some report, I was on ESPN one day, that stated that LeBron James was going to have until June 29th, 2018 to let the Cavs know, the Cleveland Cavaliers know, if he was going to opt out of his contract or not. Well, interestingly enough, the full moon in Capricorn, of course, is going to be on June 28th. And this full moon in Capricorn is going to be either making a transit applying conjunction to his natal sun or very close to it at this time. So again, in the 7th house of partnership. So what I'm saying is, it wouldn't surprise me on the 28th or shortly near that period, he is going to make his declaration. What his revelation will be in terms of publicly coming out in stating what I believe will probably be the end of that career, so to speak, that connection, yeah, the business connection, if you will, if you want to call it that, with the Cleveland Cavaliers. And he will at least let them know right around this time. I think I mean, that's just the feeling I get based on this transit and how it relates to LeBron's chart, that at this time or shortly near it, I think that's when he's going to let them know what he's going to do. And given that the full moon in astrology can represent the end or culmination of something, again, I think the way it's going to manifest with him is that he's going to let them know that he's not going to be there. But that is just my guess based on this. And even without astrology, those of you out there that are strong NBA fans, pro basketball fans, I mean, most of us will concur, he's not going to be with the Cleveland Cavaliers this coming season, that he is going to leave them for another team anyway. But I think these transit really kind of helps reaffirm that, and perhaps even, I think it's going to confirm it. So, and also, he's at this time of this full moon in Capricorn, LeBron James, again, he's going to have the Black Moon Lilith in transit. Black Moon Lilith in Capricorn making inconjunct to his Gemini ascendant, and of course inconjuncts can be about adjustments, and also coupled with the fact Black Moon Lilith energy again can be about revelations or unveiling, and being in Capricorn a career related thing. And Gemini rising, of course, is one that's very peripatetic, very mobile, and one that has tremendous difficulty being stagnant for that long. So that's another thing where I see him actually leaving the Cleveland Cavaliers and going to another team this season. So anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment for the June 28th, 2018 full moon in Capricorn. Now stay tuned next time. I'm going to be doing something a little bit different. I'm going to be talking about the natal chart of the weepy-voiced killer, aka, I believe his name is Paul Michael Stefani. And somebody had wrote me one time, and they were inquiring with me as to whether I would maybe do a series, astrological series on serial killers. And I mean, what I'm going to do is I don't think I'm going to have like a series like one after another all in a row, but I'll try to put up maybe one per month maybe I might do. So this month it's going to be that weepy voiced killer is what I'm going to do. Then next month maybe I'll do somebody else at some point in that month. So anyway, two things I want to get with you on before I head out. Firstly, the stars may impel but do not compel. And secondly, never isolate any single astrological element, aspect, planetary placement, position, configuration, influence, or what have you, and make an analysis of a person, astrologically speaking, based on this alone, because astrologically speaking, the person is the sum of all their components in their natal chart and not just one. Until next time, people, stay well.